Hi all, this is Sarah Wyke, Director of Educational Technology, and I am going to talk you through our Canvas template, and then I'm going to move on into Canvas and show you around a course I created based on this template so that you could have a better idea about what it looks like within Canvas. We do not have courses and teachers set up in Canvas yet. We are still integrating with Ravenscroft. So for the time being, we will do it this way, and then I'm going to offer some time later this week for those of you who would like to log on and ask me questions via Zoom. So let me get started. This is the template that Colleen and I have worked on together with the Canvas integration team and with division head approval. This is the template for our middle school and upper school courses. It will look quite different for our lower school courses. We'll be using a completely different template. So on the landing page for your course, just bear with me now and you'll see this, what it looks like in just a minute. You're going to have a photo of you with a written introduction or a video of the instructor introducing themselves. You will have contact information, your preferred method of contact. We actually recommend that you have Canvas inbox as your preferred. You don't really need to have students email you anymore. They can completely contact you through Canvas. You also would want to have any class policies or procedures that are important listed there. And then a note that all of your course materials can be found within modules. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about modules. But if you're taking the One Schoolhouse course, you already are a bit familiar with modules. And then there are 3 quick link buttons that we identified as being important that will be at the bottom of your homepage that link to the modules, the course syllabus, grading expectations, and class resources. So now I'm going to go and log into Canvas and show you that part of what I was referring to. So now here's our template. So I'm going to log into that or click on that. And it will take me to a course I have created. I used to teach Spanish, so I decided to do Spanish. And you can see here that each course will have the same banner across the top, this Ravenscroft banner that I created for our purposes. Please let me remind you again, this is a draft. We may change things. So here I've got Welcome to Spanish 3, and I've recorded a short video of myself, which I'll show you now.
Hi all, I'm Sarah Wyke. I'm the Director of Educational Technology at Ravenscroft. Welcome to my example course here in Canvas. This is the spot where you can use Studio to create a introduction video of yourself for your students. Tell them a little bit about your educational background, maybe some things that you like to do, a little bit about yourself, maybe a fun fact, and just pop it right in here at the top of your page so that they can get to know you a bit better. I will be using this example to help you guys learn how to navigate Canvas, how to get around a little better. So stick with me.
So then as I scroll down, you can see that I've put the Contact Me, Best Through Canvas inbox, which is over on the left part of your screen. You can see I'm using my cursor here. That's where the inbox is. And so it's email within Canvas. I've got some class policies, some course materials, reminding them that they can be found within the unit, and then a few tips to help them with navigation. And then as you can see, we've got our quick access links. Before I get into that, I'm going to go back to the template overview and go down to what each unit should include. So each unit needs to have a title and a concise overview of the unit. You'll have your essential questions for there. Basically, you can take a lot from your curriculum guides and copy and paste them in for this unit homepage. Learning objectives, which would just be brief statements describing what students should know or be able to do by the end of a defined instructional period. And we've got our lead from here connections. And then an assessment overview. You want to, at the very beginning of your unit, clearly outline how students will be assessed and receive grades within the unit. And then, of course, any materials and resources they may need. So I'm going to pop back over to my template in Canvas and show you what this would look like in Canvas. So actually, if I go down again and I click on Learning Modules, I have, it takes me to the first module I've created for Unit 1. Since this is the first module of Unit 1, you can see that the first thing I have in here is actually my unit overview. Now, I wouldn't include this in Module 2 and 3 if there were more modules within this unit. I'm just doing it for the very first one. So you want to think about it as how based on your learning objectives can you break down your unit into modules. That's going to be something you'll have to get used to as we progress this year. So here we have Unit 1. I'm going to click on that. And I've got the unit overview just as I had in that Google Doc I was just showing you. This is a language course, so I've included target proficiency. I've got some essential questions for this unit about family. And then I have my learning objectives, what the students will be able to do by the end of the unit. That's going to be really important for creating your modules. And then lead from here connections, and then the overview of the assessments for the entire unit, not just for the module. Okay. Now, since I've done that as the first part of my first module, let's go back to this document and I'll show you what each module should contain. So each module should be based on your unit objectives covered within the module and include these sections. If you're taking the One Schoolhouse course, you'll note that they have sections in blue and sections in red. The sections in blue indicate to the students that there are things that they need to know. So we're doing green and gold, of course, because we're Ravenscroft. So our green is going to indicate that it is something the student needs to know. And then as I go down further in the template, we've got gold, and gold is an indicator of that is something the student actually needs to complete or do. So that's something that we're going to need to get used to as well. So I want to explain that before I went through these. So our learning objectives. So these should be brief statements describing what students should know or be able to do by the end of the module. And we want to base our modules on certain learning objectives. So I've given some examples here. Then when we get into discovery or content delivery, this part can be a lot of different things. You could have an in-class lecture. You could, for the students at home, record that through Google Meet and upload it to Canvas. It could be a pre-recorded lecture or a screencast like the one I'm making right now. It could be a link to an article, a video, a problem to solve, link to vocabulary list and Quizlet, which you'll see is one of the things I did. You can use an interactive whiteboard like Jamboard, an interactive presentation like Pear Deck. You could use an interactive video created in Canvas Studio. There are so many options for content delivery that you can just upload directly into Canvas. And so I'm going to show you that section. I'm going to head over here and I'm going to go back into modules. Oh, actually, it's the very next one, so I can hit next. Okay, so here I've outlined the objectives that are a part of this module, and then I go into my to-do list. I have let them know, and this is optional. This is not something that you have to do. I just thought that it would be nice for the student to know upfront what they will need to do in this module. There's some things they need to review, watch, read, discuss, and there's actually things they need to complete and create towards the end as well. And so then I'm getting into that discovery content delivery part. And you can see all of these are green because these are the things they need to know. They're not having to turn anything in here. Color coding it will really help students stay organized as they work through a unit. So I've got some vocabulary practice. I have a link directly to Quizlet, so I can the student can click right there and head to Quizlet to look at the list of vocabulary for this unit. So everything's very well organized in one place. I have an interpretive listening video. So I took this video from YouTube and uploaded it directly here. And they can just click on it and watch it. And then I have an interpretive reading. So this was actually a Google Doc that I got off the curriculum map for Spanish 3 at Ravenscroft. And so it's about familia. And it asked them just to read it and take some notes on it to start getting used to the vocabulary. So these are some of the things that are under the content delivery, the discovery section of the module. So then I'm going to head back over to our template to show you the next section, which is engagement. This is the part where they're going to do practice and formative assessment. And this can take many forms that you can have a discussion board. You'll see we can do that in Canvas. You can do a video-based one as well using Flipgrid or even Canvas. You can use a virtual bulletin board like Padlet and upload it right there. You can have problem sets depending on the courses that you teach, learning games, Kahoot, GameKit, Quizlet Live, quizzes, all of them can be uploaded directly, embedded in Canvas. Partner and group work, and then you've got polling sites you can use, and or even formatively assess learning using a lot of tools that you guys already know about. Now, I mentioned Google quizzes here, but I strongly recommend that you get used to creating your quizzes in Canvas because you can use SpeedGrader that will grade them for you and upload them directly, the grades directly to your gradebook in Canvas. So that will be something you probably want to get used to. I would recommend doing that over using a Google quiz because it's going to take a lot of steps out for you. So let me go back over into my module and show you what the engagement looks like within Canvas. So I'll scroll down. I'm going to head over to the next page. So you can see students just navigate this by going through, hitting the next button. Here I've got a little formative assessment for them, and I've already taken the quiz, so I can't. I guess I could try to show you. There is an option in Canvas where you can take a video. So I've already had them watch this video and turn it into a quiz. So it'll stop at certain points and ask them to take or answer questions. So I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like.
Te presento a la familia Sanz. Juan es el padre y Alicia la madre. Ana y David son los hijos. Yo soy su perro, Tom.
So as you can see, you're going along, the students are watching, they listen to part of it, and they actually stop and have to answer a question. It's a really good way to keep students engaged, and you can have these as graded or not graded, but it's something that can be done over here to the left in Canvas Studio. If you've ever used Edpuzzle, this is the same functionality. So really excited about this tool. So you can see, well, I'm going to stop that.
Mamá, estoy muy contenta.
Oh, finally got it stopped. All right, so I'm going to hit next again. And you can see yellow again. This is another to-do part. And this is some interpersonal writing practice. This is also under that practice part. So you could do this for a grade or not. But I've got a discussion prompt that I've listed up here at the top where I say, tell us about your family. How many of you are there? What are you each like? And I go into some more. I've added some guidelines that how long their initial response should be and how once they respond, they should wait a day or two until most of their classmates have responded and then respond to 3 of them so that they understand that they need to make sure that they're responding to others. And I even asked them to ask everyone a question. So they must answer all the questions asked of them by the end of the week as well. And there are ways on the teacher in the teacher view in the back end that you can see how many times students responded really easily. So you're not going through and counting. Really great data in Canvas. Okay, so that's one other practice I had for students. And then I hit next and I have another practice. And this one is actually one that I decided to grade, but this is what I created a quiz within Canvas that students would take, and then they would, I would have it speed grader. I've already put in the answer, so it would grade it for me. So now I'm going to go back to the Canvas template overview and go on to the final 2 sections. So now we're getting to the application analysis and that assessment for mastery section. This is really important because this refers to real world application and some higher level analysis, making them go a little further than the stuff I was doing before. Thinking about Bloom's taxonomy will help you create this, having your students do a little more deep thinking. So of course you can think about this through using some of those verbs from Bloom's and analyzing, categorizing, classifying, and I've got them all listed there. So this can lead to a summative assessment within this module or not. You may not have a summative assessment in each module. You may only do formative, smaller ones like quizzes, and that's important to understand. And then summative assessment should try to include real world application and higher level analysis. That's really what you're probably learning in the One Schoolhouse course is ideal. And then assessment for mastery refers to the summative for a grade assessment that is given in each unit. So assessment should focus on a student's demonstration of mastery of the material, and this means that students should have the opportunity to show you if they can or cannot do what was outlined in the learning objectives that were shown to them at the very beginning of the module. So next, each step, you want to include the approximate length of time you expect each step to take. I did not do that when I was creating my Canvas course, but that is something that we would like to do, have you do, so students have an idea of how long it's going to take them. All right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to show you the summative assessment that I have created here. So in language learning, summative assessments are referred to as IPAs. No, it has nothing to do with beer. It's an integrated proficiency assessment. So anyways, I have included a reading here. So this is going to be an interpretive reading assessment that they can click on. And this was taken directly from a textbook, if you're using textbooks. And it's got everything that the student needs to read right here. So they can actually just annotate this document and turn it right in through Canvas, because you can accept all different types of file formats. And so they just need to annotate the document and turn it back into via Canvas. And you can see really quickly who's turned everything into you or not. The idea is that you get away from, or move away from using paper if possible. If you use paper in your classroom, that's absolutely fine. But you also want to make sure that you're posting things on Canvas as well for any students who are staying home. So then I'm going to go back to the very last portion of the Canvas template, and that is reflection. We want to always include a part for students to reflect at the end of every module. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can have them complete a 3-2-1, a Padlet, an exit ticket, or maybe they're just keeping a journal if you're in class. But I'm going to show you what that would look like. So I'm going to click next and go to the final part of my module, which is the reflection piece. So here you have it, time to reflect. I did a 3-2-1. So now that they have completed module 1, they just need to take a minute to, and you may want to assign some sort of small grade to this, 5 points or whatever it may be. But they need to say 3 things, and you can do the 3 things, whatever you want, the 2 things, whatever you want, or the 1 thing, whatever you want. But I did 3 things you believe you learned well in the module, 2 things you still need to practice some more, and then 1 thing you really enjoyed. So that will complete the module. So I am going to now take you back to, now that I've gone through the entire template, I want to go back to the homepage for this course and show you the buttons at the bottom. So if you go down here, you've got buttons that are going to take you different places. I've already shown you the learning modules. So for the course syllabus, it may be very simple. All I did here was include the course syllabus for Spanish 3 Honors, and it's just a link. I can open it up and the students can see it. You could copy and paste your syllabus in directly there if you prefer. This one was a PDF that Katie sent me, so that was easier for me. And then as you see, as the year progresses, all assignments that you give with the dates you've assigned them, I did fake dates here, and that you can see the due dates, these will start to populate. So if I go back again, you can go down to the buttons, scroll down, and then grading expectations. I also got these from Katie, in her syllabus. And I copied and pasted these in here so that students always were aware what the grading expectations were. They could access this easily through the year. Please include these so that it's very clear to students. We want to definitely be as clear as possible. I'm going to go back and show you the final button. We are almost done. So the final button at the bottom here, that's class resources. And the way I see this is those documents that you use over and over and over again throughout the year, you'd want to include here. Now, in a Spanish class, there's a lot of grammar explanations. So, for example, preterite imperfect is something that comes up quite often. So I included a link to an explanation of the preterite imperfect. And you could also include videos here. It doesn't have to be a document, so that students could, if they're at home and struggling and don't remember the difference between the two, and they want to easily access a document, they can go on and do that. You may want to create this before your school year even starts so that students have easy access to these documents. And then the last thing I'd like to mention is just that with your modules, you can set when you want them to open up to students. So you can open up a module whenever you're ready, probably the day before, so that students don't work too far ahead. That is something else you can keep in mind. Well, I hope that this was very helpful and that you learned a little bit more about our template, which I'll be sharing with you all soon, and and got a better sense of what it's going to look like in Canvas. I will be hosting a Zoom meeting later this week, as I mentioned, where I can go through with you more pointedly different sections that you have questions about, and can also answer any questions or concerns, address any concerns that you may have. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you have a very good day. Bye-bye.